Good morning, sir. I am Jeanette at Ambal of Bscrim 4A. Our topic will be about ballistics. So, ballistic. It is from Greek word ballion or throw. Ballistic is the science that deals with the motion, behavior, and effects of projectiles, especially bullets, gravity bombs, rockets, or the like. It is the science or art of designing and hurling projectiles so as to achieve a desired performance. A ballistic body is a body which is free to move, behave, and be modified in appearance, contour, or texture by ambient conditions, substances, or forces, as by the pressure of gases in a gun, by rifling in a barrel, by gravity, by temperature, or by air particles. Ballistic is sometimes subdivided into four. First is the internal ballistics, the study of the processes originally accelerating the projectile. For example, the passage of a bullet through the barrel of a rifle. The second is the transition ballistics. It is the study of the projectile's behavior when it leaves the barrel and the pressure behind the projectile is equalized. Third, external ballistic. The study of the passage of the projectile through space or the air. And fourth is the terminal ballistics, the study of the interaction of a projectile with its target, whether that be fleshed for a hunting bullet, steel for an anti-tank round, or even furnace slug for an industrial slug disruptor. Ballistics theory. Ballistics is the scientific study of the propulsion and motion of projectiles such as bullets, artillery, shells, rockets, and guided missiles. Also includes the study of the destructive action of such projectiles. The drag of a projectile moving head on is now usually divided into three parts. First, bow resistance, due to air pressure at the head of the projectile. Second, skin friction, caused by the friction of air moving along the middle portion of the body. And the third is the base drag, due to the under pressure and disturbance of the air behind the base. Interior ballistics. Interior ballistic is the study of the motion of projectiles within the gun barrel. The time during which the projectile is influenced by interior ballistics is very short. From the release of the firing pin to the moment the sound of the shoot can be heard as it leaves the muzzle occupies only about 0.01 seconds in a modern rifle. Interior ballistics involves ignition of primer. Flames is produced combustion of the gunpowder. Energy that is generated, force, pressure, developed. Velocity of the bullet from the chamber to the muzzle, rotation of the bullet, engraving of the cylindrical surface of the bullet, Related terms in interior ballistics. First, the action. Term referring to the mechanism of a firearm. Burning rate, an arbitrary index of the quickness that burning propellant changes into gas. Bulk density, the ratio of the weight of a given volume of powder versus the weight of the same volume of water. Chamber pressure, the pressure generated within the chamber erroneously called breech pressure. Charge weight to bullet weight ratio. This is the ratio of a weight of the powder charged to the weight of the projectile. Detonation chemical rearrangement of molecules into gas instead of solids to cause the high explosives to exert full power of shaft. energy is measured in foot-pounds, and 1 foot-pound means that amount of energy which would be capable of lifting a weight of 1 pound through a distance of 1 foot. Expansion ratio. The ratio of the capacity of the powder chamber plus bore in grains of water to the capacity of the powder chamber. Foot-pound. The amount of work required to raise 1 pound 1 foot high against the force of gravity. The foot-second. Velocity expressed in foot per second. The gas, a fluid resulting from the combustion of gunpowder with a relatively great expansion and spontaneous tendency. Hang fire occurs when a cartridge fails to explode on time or delayed in firing. The knocking powder, the knocking power, the power of the bullet which delivers a very heavy paralyzing blow that put the victim down and may then recover if the wound inflicted upon is not fatal. Loading density. The ratio of the weight of the powder charge to the capacity of the powder chamber. Misfire. Total failure of a cartridge to discharge. This is different from hang fire, which merely a delayed combustion, while misfire is a complete failure even to start combustion. Powder chamber. Powder chamber capacity. As with most interior ballistics capacity measurements, it is usually expressed in grains of water. It is determined by measuring the weight of water that a fire case from the test firearm can contain with a bullet seated to its normal depth. Pressure outward. Push of gases from powder combustion against cartridge case, chamber, and bore. Sectional density. The ratio of the bullet's weight in pounds to its diameter. PSI, pounds per square inch. It is often seen designated as PSIA. This designation is now used to signify a measurement of chamber pressure taken with a piezoelectric device. Piezoelectric units operate in a similar fashion to the copper crushers units but use a reusable crystal or crusher that changes its electrical properties in response to pressure. Recoil. The equal and opposite reaction of the gun against the forward movement of the bullet during the explosions. Residual pressure. The pressure remaining in the chamber after the bullet has left the barrel. Let's move to the exterior ballistic. Exterior ballistics deals with the motion of projectiles from time they leave the muzzle of the firearm to the time they hit the target. The flight of the most bullet or projectile does not exceed 30 seconds at maximum range, which for almost any firearms is obtained at an elevation of about 33. Conditions refers to the natural laws. Velocity, speed per unit of time. Examples of M16 is equals to 3,300 feet per second. Energy, fatal equivalent of a bullet. Yaw, the unstable rotating motion of a bullet. Gyroscopic action refers to the stillness of its rotating motion and attain its highest momentum or stability in flight and penetrating power. Further, exterior ballistics refers to the attributes and movements of the bullets after it has left the gun muzzle. It includes muzzle blast, the noise created at the muzzle point of the gun due to the sudden escape of the expanding gas coming in contact with the air in the surrounding atmosphere at the muzzle point. The muzzle energy. It is the energy generated at the muzzle point. Trajectory. the actual curved path of the bullet during its flight from the gun muzzle to the target. The following are the kinds of trajectory: the straight horizontal line or the parabola-like flight, vertical drop, range, the straight distance between the muzzle point and the target, accurate or the effective range. The distance within the shooter has control of his shots, meaning he can place his shots at the desired spots. Maximum range, the farthest distance that a projectile can be propelled from a firearm. Velocity, rate of speed of the bullet per unit of time. Air resistance, resistance encountered by the bullet while in flight. Pull of gravity, downward reaction of the bullet while in flight. Penetration, depth of entry on target. The following terms in exterior ballistics: accuracy range, the maximum distance at which a particular gun and cartridges will consistently place all shots in the standard target for that distance. The accurate range, the distance within which the shooter has control of his shots. Back curve, this is the portion of the bullet's trajectory that drops below the critical zone beyond the point blank range. Past this point, the trajectory begins to drop off very rapidly with range, and the point of impact becomes very difficult to estimate. Ballistic coefficient, the means that the bullet may lose its speed very rapidly during its flight the air. Bullet energy, the power possessed by a moving bullet, or in other words, its ability to keep going when it meets an obstacle and to do work on the obstacle, is immense importance. For obviously, the more power a bullet has and the harder it is to stop, the more effective it can be as a weapon. Bullet trajectory. This is the bullet's path as it travels downrange. Critical zone. This is the area of the bullet path where it is neither rises nor falls greater than the dimension is specified. Drift is the curve taken by the bullet while in flight. Effective range, the maximum distance at which a bullet may reasonably be expected to travel accurately and kill a particular type of live target. Extreme range, the greatest distance the bullet will travel when the cartridge is fired. Flat trajectory, a comparative term used to indicate very little curvature in the flight in the bullet from muzzle to point of impact. When the velocity is high, comparatively flat trajectory. Gallery range, the endured target range. Initial point, the range at which the bullet's trajectory first crosses the line of sight. This normally occurs at a range of about 25 yards. Instrument velocity, the velocity of a projectile measured by the scientific instrument called chronograph at a specified point on its trajectory, always lower than the muzzle velocity. Keyhole shot, the tumbling of the bullet in its flight and hitting the target sideways as a result of not spinning on its axis. Maximum point blank range. This is the farthest distance at which the bullet's path stays within the critical zone. Maximum range, the farthest distance that a projectile can be propelled from a firearm. Maximum ordinate. This is the maximum height of the projectile's path above the line of sight for a given point of impact and occurs somewhat past the halfway point to the zero range and is determined by your zeroing range. The mid-range trajectory. This is the height of the bullet's path above the line of sight at halfway to the zero range. Let's move to the terminal ballistics. Terminal ballistics is the study dealing with the effect of the impact of the bullet on the target. Penetration of the bullet is of prime interest. Penetration is important also in determining safety requirements for the target box stops. They are important to both sportsmen and military. Terminal ballistics involve the terminal accuracy. It is the size of the bullet grouping on the target. The terminal energy. Energy of the projectile when it strikes the target, also known as striking energy. Terminal penetration. Depth of entry of the bullet in the target. Terminal velocity. Speed of the bullet upon striking the target. Terminal ballistics also deals with the destructive actions and effects that occur at the end of the projectile's flight as an integral and undeformed body. The flight may end in one of two ways. The projectile may strike a solid obstruction, or its metal case may be broken by the explosion of a bursting charge. Shoots ballistics deals with the attributes and properties of shoots and pellets. Choke. When the diameter of a barrel of a shotgun is the same throughout the bore, it is called through cylinder. The bore of the gun is sometimes constructed near the muzzle end. That is, the diameter near the muzzle end is slightly smaller than the diameter of the bore of the rest of the barrel. The barrel is said to be choked. Chilled shot. Shotgun pellets made from lead specially hardened by the addition of a slight amount of antimony. Wound ballistics. It is the study of the effects of projectile to human body. Gunshot wound or GSW. It is an open wound produced by the penetration of bullet slug within the tissues of the body. The bullet which was propelled from the gun as well as the flame from the heated expanded gases in short range fire is the one that produces injury. Three basic kinds of gunshot wound distinguished by the proximity of the weapon, contact gun muzzle pressed against or within an inch or two of the body. Close discharge 6 inches to 2 feet. Distance discharge over 2 feet or 3 feet. That would be all. Thank you.